Well, it is draft 3 for your boy, and I can only hope that I will take the first 2 best ball drafts and all the knowledge that I have learned and also given out for free, and take them into this draft and just dominate the draft. I've got Peter and Davis that are continuing to guide me through. We got the chat on our way to 10,000 subs. We had like 130 comments last week. Like people they want this and they recognize the knowledge that we are giving out for free. So we're going to continue doing these best ball drafts. It's the Swolecast on RotoGrinders.com.
Are you Davis Maddox from the Swolecast? I was like, yep, that's me.
I just want you guys to know I'm total dust. I'm the problem.
Hear ye, hear ye.
Leave it to the guy with the crypto dunes, Abby, to not understand context.
I should have known you getting 30 likes was directly written by someone else.
You know me, I don't do a ton of research before the show.
I've put no research into this. Don't know if it's true at all.
You're on the right show.
To it, bro. Live a little.
Live a little.
Just live a little, guys.
Welcome to the Swolecast here on RotoGrinders.com. I'm David Kitchen. So can you throw up the lower thirds, please?
Lower thirds, baby.
Yeah, for once. There you go. We got Davis Maddox, who's muted right now.
It would be professional if you had yours set up correctly.
Oh, how is mine set up correctly? Not set up correctly.
Look at the screen.
Also, we are in a draft. I have the 101. I have 20.
Yeah, no. I wanted to get to that. We got Davis Maddox. We got Pete. I see. I don't have my handle underneath there. Sorry. But yeah, I'm sharing my screen right now. So if you want to pull it up, and this is ridiculous. Last week we had basically me at the 12 spot, and now I'm one spot up at the 11 spot. I did not do good with the 12 spot. Well, I did not do as good as I normally do at the 12 spot.
You were not locked in.
Peter gets the 1.1 this draft and immediately selects Jamar Chase. And then Davis gets the 1.5. So 5th overall pick. This is
about to find out if this is a Piss Boys draft with this pick right here. It is. All right. It is a Piss Boys draft.
Yeah.
This screen placement is just like a streamer's disaster. So we're sharing window. We need to share Chrome tab. We need to extend the window so it's maximizing the real estate. We need to get more than $5 in your balance. There's just so much we need to do.
Just at 30. This show's gonna break me. People that do not know, I'm not like Davis. I don't have a work log that I fill out every week. I do this for the people for free.
Hey, Dan Bach, if you're listening, can we get Kitchen, I don't know, like a $3,700 raise so he can max BBM on the show this year?
Can Better Collective not write that off as an expense for the program?
I don't know. Let me see if I can get the proper resolution. And Davis, you walk us through your CMAC pick.
I mean, I think CMAC is probably in 0.5 PPR, should probably be the second pick. It looks like we're doing a little bit of piss boy here with Cooper Kupp going 3.
Explain what piss boy is for people that do not watch Ship It Nation or
That's the best joke you've ever had on this show.
Dave, you're about to be on the clock, so I don't want you to auto pick. A piss boy is basically a Peter Overzet, Pat Carrain acolyte that drafts wide receivers first, second, third, fourth, last. They just want wide receivers. All their thirst for wide receivers is unquenchable.
Okay. I am on the clock right now, and I'm in Firefox. And
Can we show the fucking draft board, Dave?
Yeah, I can't. Well, you don't say the F word. We will.
How many? Okay, Peter. How many drafts in do we think before Dave gets good at this?
I mean, there's literally not enough time in the universe.
Dave, you said it exactly the same.
I know. I can't figure it out.
He took Garrett Wilson.
I took Garrett Wilson. I did not want to go Bijan or Devontae because that's already been done. I already took Devontae last time, so I'm mixing up a little bit.
Yeah, it's not like you have 16 other picks. Once you've done a duplicated combo in round 1 and 2, then it's just the entire lineup's duped.
Yeah, exactly.
Dupe City.
The good news is I've got a pick immediately coming back. So let's take a look at this draft board.
Amazing content here. Let's see what Dave does here. So he starts with Garrett Wilson. Do we think
there's only 2 running backs and a tight end in the first round? My question is, Davis, are people getting and then Jalen Waddle, are people getting too slap happy with the wide receivers?
Dave, you don't understand what's happening here. This is all of Peter's people here. So whatever you think a wide receiver is going to go, he's going to go 10 picks before that.
Yeah, people are living a little.
This is a slappy room to be able to get Bijan Robinson at the second pick.
Just
take
Bijan, Kitchen. Stand for something.
I am. I did it.
Oh, the slappies, dude. Peter, tell him about the wide receiver avalanche.
He's in one right now. You're an experiential learner, Kitchen. I don't even have to tell you what it is. You're just getting buried in an avalanche right now.
I'm actually really excited to see Dave's reaction when wow.
Good job, Dave.
Man's killing it right now.
I'm
actually about to get buried by the wide receiver avalanche, to be honest.
Why is that?
Well, there's one good wide receiver left, and I think the guy who's on the clock right now is about to take him. So it's about to be a tough scene for me. I was at a non-optimal spot because I had to take CMC because the cliff after Tyreek is pretty big. Oh, all right, Dingus, do the right thing. Do the right thing, bud.
He takes T. Higgins.
That was not the right thing.
Kitchen, do you know who Travis Kelce plays in?
Oh, Paul, I was inverted. Oh, buddy. Oh, no.
Davis, you can't just make these sound effects. You have to tell the people what happened, especially for the audio listener.
For structural reasons, I needed Olave because it doesn't make sense for me to take Devonta here.
Yeah. Okay, Peter, what were you asking me?
Do you know who the Chiefs play in Week 17?
Of course I do.
Who do they play?
Cincinnati Bengals.
Wow.
How many of the Week 17 matchups would you say you have memorized?
You don't have to memorize them when you have the fantasy football playoff cheat sheets on spikeweek.com. Spikeweek.com, of course, notorious for providing tools for your best ball streams.
Have you ever considered maybe downloading those tools and showcasing them on a wildly popular best ball stream, Dave?
We will get there. I got to have a few drafts in the queue, or so that I can have show my exposures. Because right now, just be 0, 50, or 100. After next week, we're getting into, the 33. 66, 100, or 0. All right.
Let's see. All right. We are going to draft Tony Pollard and Jalen Hurts because all the piss boys took all the wide receivers.
Yeah. So this guy, GA007, wants me to explain why I can't take Devonta there. It's because I'm drawing dead to get Jalen Hurts back. So then I have an unstacked Devonta Smith in a not that unique of a spot. In fact, I'm overpaying for Devonta Smith with the inability to stack him. So it's just you're setting yourself up for a bad combination of a Devonta Smith team that can't even be aided by having the ceiling of his quarterback added into it. It's just a bad pick.
Derrick Henry goes 3rd round. Pete, you specifically chose not to draft Derrick Henry. You have Jamar Chase, Tony Pollard, and then Jalen Hurts. Passing on Derrick Henry there is an interesting strategy.
Well, I prefer Tony Pollard. I prefer Ramondre Stevenson, and I prefer Josh Jacobs, and I prefer Breece Hall to Derrick Henry.
How much of a slappy are you to prefer Josh Jacobs to Derrick Henry?
Josh Jacobs is a better version of the Derrick Henry pick.
Embarrassing.
Younger, on a
That
better
is really
offense with a better quarterback. I mean,
a better quarterback. Last I heard, Jimmy Garoppolo just got his foot chopped off, dude.
Yeah, because we don't even know when he's coming back. Have you seen that offense?
Who are we still? I mean, what's going on with Ryan Tannehill? Is Ryan Tannehill just going to be the quarterback?
He's Schrodinger's quarterback. He both is the Titans quarterback and the Falcons quarterback, and no one can figure out which one it is.
Yeah, I mean, as of right now, he is the quarterback. That's why when they came out with the new rule change that you can have a third quarterback that dresses out but not count against a 53-man roster, is good for the Titans, right? As of right now. Yeah,
it's really good for Malik Willis's development.
Exactly.
Same with starting Josh Jacobs for him in a playoff game.
Oh boy. So I'm on the clock right now. I've got Garrett Wilson, Bijan Robinson. Let's take a look at some of the options.
I feel like you've been at the back half of every one of these drafts we've done, Dave, because you're always staring at Amari and Tebow.
I know.
He just wants to click it so bad.
All right. We're going to go with, ooh, boy.
Will Dave click it or get auto drafted? Narrator auto draft.
So yeah, anyways, Tanny is going to be the guy in Tennessee for right now. And if they do trade him to Atlanta, he'll be the guy in Atlanta. Like, he's going to be a starter.
Mm-hmm.
So
the chat still doesn't understand why I took Metcalf over Devonta Smith.
So you had a stacking partner? Was that the reasoning?
Well, it's so you have a stacking partner, but it's also so that you're not playing when you reach on Devonta, but you can't get Jalen, you are all the other Smith after ADP combos, Hurts at ADP combos. You are losing so many projected points to those combos.
Normally, I'm used to hearing that kind of game theory logic coming from Kitchen's mouth on this show, so it's nice to hear someone else discuss it.
Multiple people messaged me about how good your game theory explanation was last week with the DJ Moore Justin Fields combo.
Amari or Gibbs?
Live a little.
Kitchen, you have two. Kitchen's doing a bit.
I literally don't think so. I think he's literally too frazzled. I think the combination
I need
of
to be doing this.
Screen,
honestly, and I need to be doing this on the phone because on the desktop you have to scroll, you have to select the player and then scroll and then draft. And obviously I can't update my queue because then people will see who I'm going to draft because I'm sharing the screen. So I'm at a fundamental disadvantage here. But anyway, if people
had me at fundamental disadvantage, but it has nothing to do with any of the factors you described.
I've got Bijan, Garrett Wilson, Debo, and Amari Cooper. I think I said it week 1 with Amari Cooper, and his ADP is, I think he could get back to being like a first round guy.
Davis, is this going to be another week of you having a
I have to ignore the chat. I explained to them in the most elementary terms why I did.
Oh, you're still mad at the chat. You're still mad at the chat.
I want them to understand. I like to talk about best ball, but it's not useful when people do not understand very basic concepts. It's very annoying to me.
Why don't you explain it to them?
I literally just did.
I think the chat's
the avalanche is backwards now, by the way.
You know what is nice? I'll go. Yeah, what do you mean by that, Davis?
Like a bunch of non-wide receivers just went ahead, or a bunch of non-wide receivers just left. Like the Avalanche took a nice little break for my pick here.
Okay, Peter, what were you about to say?
I forget, Dave.
You don't
normally I'm not at a loss of words, but right now I'm truly at a loss for words. So just a lot going on.
Terry McLaurin goes to Davis in the 4th round. Davis, did you see that F1 said that Sam Howell has a quiet confidence about him?
No, did not come across my desk, but he does play Christian McCaffrey.
But Sam Howell was trending.
17.
Sam Howell was trending today. I want to know, are you in or out on Mr. Howell?
Like relative to consensus, probably out because I prefer Purdy to him for my quarterback 3.
Okay. All right. Peter goes with Keenan Allen. And then take us through this pick, Peter. You're about to be the first pick of the 5th round.
I'm not a big Mike Williams guy, but sliding here, I kind of like the idea, and I'm not going to be getting Herbert with this build, but I'm going to go ahead and double tap these Chargers here.
I'm not a big Mike Williams guy either, but I find myself clicking him sometimes just because that range is so fraught.
We were talking about this on Ship It Nation last week, and the entire range of wide receivers from like rounds 4 through 7 is very flat.
It is.
Davis, damn. you look
I don't know
dressed up. I don't even know how to like take you serious on this show. You are so dressed up.
I was just doing TV before this. I literally had 4 minutes to go and eat lunch before we started.
Okay, so we got lots of Sam Howell love in the chat.
Dude,
so
people
preferring Purdy to Howell and smashing Derrick Henry in the 3rd. What has happened to our boy?
Well, I think Howell's better for fantasy, but I feel much better about Purdy starting in week 17 than I do Sam Howell.
All right, let's see here. Let's see what we got. Oh boy. We got
Kitchen. Talk us through your kind of
all right. So obviously we've got Debo, and then I could pair him with Ayuk here. So that seems and Kittle. So let's see what Sklimilk says or drafts right here, because if he doesn't, I will be looking at Kittle at the end of the 5th round.
Seems like a nice pick.
Yeah. Oh man, watch him auto draft and it be Kittle.
The curse of the auto draft.
Yeah.
Oh. Okay.
Kitchen got beat by his own game. Someone auto drafting good selections.
I know. Okay, let's see. I'll just go with Ayuk here to make sure I don't get sniped and see
who is going to be your preferred San Francisco quarterback for this double stack you got cooking.
Yeah,
here.
what are you doing here, bud?
On Trey Lance today.
And what was the big news? Tell me.
That he's going to be running with the ones at OTAs.
He's getting all the first team reps over Sam Darnold.
And where's his ADP? I mean, I know this, but you tell the people that are listening and watching. Where's his ADP right now?
Lance.
He goes back to quarterback 25. Purdy's quarterback 27.
Who out there is selecting Sam Darnold? Reveal yourself in the chat. That's who I want to know.
Sam Sherman is taking him probably. I mean, someone's got to be taking him, right? I mean,
yeah, with his ADP.
100%.
All right, Kitchen.
Dave.
Yeah. Man.
Dave just loves these 0 RB teams, dude. He's killing it. Look, Kyle Pitts action.
Who is my running back going to be there? Dalvin Cook?
No, I'm just saying these back end 0 RB teams, bud.
Right. No, it's not, but it's not really what I'm doing. I'm letting the draft come to me letting the draft come to me and seeing kind of what happens. I
can go as far as saying is you're letting the draft even draft for you because you don't even click.
I did click on Kyle Pitts.
He did click on Kyle Pitts. That's true.
Proud of you. Maybe an interesting strategy would be to draft, some Falcons and Titans and just take Tannehill just in case. and knowing that he is going to be on one of those two teams.
That's some good galaxy brain in there.
That's
Dave.
some good galaxy braining. That's Dave. That's really more what we need from you on this show. We need less frazzled auto drafting. More.
Well, when you are trying to be the host, the entertainer, and the the guy drafting and giving out game theory and strategy, then sometimes it can get a little bit frazzled.
Kitchen, will you give the listeners a quick review of this team out of the 8-hole who just took their first wide receiver in the 6th? I kind of want your best ball mind to kind of dissect this structure.
Yeah, it looks like he's going robust RB is kind of what we call it in the industry. Austin Eckler, Saquon Barkley, and then Josh Jacobs. He then goes with what we like to call the robust RB elite QB strategy, going Justin Fields and Justin Herbert. So now I feel like what he's going to be doing is targeting these high upside guys, the spike week guys, Marquise Brown being the first wide receiver, knowing that he's got his quarterback position covered and the majority of his running backs covered with the first 3 rounds.
Hope those quarterbacks don't have the same bye week. Then he'd have to take CJ Stroud as the backstop there.
Yeah. Peter, how did I do?
You did very good, Dave.
Yeah.
Very good. Let's see here. What am I going to do? Let's see. Did you say the Bengals play the Chiefs?
Bengals play the Chiefs.
Should I take one of Best Ball's lightning rod polarizing selections in Kadarius Toney for that correlation?
Yeah. Yeah. Okay. Or you could go with someone on Pittsburgh or Minnesota, even just to, depends on what you're trying to do with your team.
Yeah. I was thinking about double tapping Pickens and Deontay Johnson at the 6-7 turn, but both of them come off the board. I guess I could get another share of Mike Evans, who I continue to select at a high rate, but I don't know. I'm just feeling like living a little. I'm going to take Jahan Dotson here.
Oh, sniping instead. Davis.
Ooh,
I don't really think you want McLaurin and Dotson together. Feels pretty unlikely that they both get there in week 17, doesn't it?
Yeah.
Oh, Davis, who have you turned into?
I don't understand.
You have to stack your teams. You can't just be saying, "Oh, only one guy is going to be." Well,
some guys,
you got to get to week 17.
Well, some guys you'd really like to stack together, but because I'm not big on taking Howell, I don't like to have like 4 Washington Commanders on my team all that often. I'd prefer like one of them on a 49ers
like kind of
team.
A loser's mentality, Davis, to be honest.
I might end up in the chat having a side conversation because someone in the chat, a guy named Chris at 2:23 p.m. said James Conner, Pete. He wanted me to take James Conner at pick 73 because he will end up in the 60s by the end of draft season.
James
I
Conner.
can't think of a worse pick in basically 19 different ways than taking James Conner right there.
Talk about the Cardinals' outlook. Like, after they release Nuke, what's your feelings just on really everything Nuke involved and Arizona involved? I mean, are they just tanking for Caleb Williams?
Are you talking to me or Davis?
Either. Both of you are on the show with me, so
yeah, I was just coming off of like a big rant, so it seemed like maybe it would be directed at Davis, but around here we can't take anything for granted.
I mean, here's the thing. Like, I would imagine they want to see Kyler play a little bit.
Davis, you took Traylon Burks. Come on.
Yeah, he plays the Houston Texans in week 7.
Get your own bit.
You can't get the big guy. Yeah, I can't wait till you tack on Kyle Phillips in the 18th.
That's no. Kyle Phillips is a bit too far. If I was a front office member or a president or the owner of the Arizona Cardinals, I would want to watch Kyler play without Cliff just to see what that vibe is like. Like I've heard this floated out there that Kyle's just going to sit all year, so they're going to tank. But I'd want to see him play. honestly, because that's a huge decision to try and get rid of his contract and draft Caleb Williams. Kitchen loves the Deshaun Watson, Amari Cooper stack. He's got 100% exposure to that
Sometimes I think he doesn't even like Amari, but he wants permission to draft Deshaun Watson. Selects Amari.
He's like the people will only forgive me if they know it's completing the stack. They won't.
Kitchen hates Amari in a vacuum, but God, he needs a green light to click Deshaun Watson. It's so funny how you're willing to auto draft every other pick, but the second Deshaun Watson, he's like slamming the pick.
I think he even started him to put him in the queue so he didn't miss
because
it.
You guys said star him to draft, and so I tried.
So Kitchen, the one thing we've learned this year is that Kitchen is super high on Deshaun Watson.
But I can't say that publicly. You guys did. I can't say it. All right, so we've got some running backs now. Cam Akers, Madison, or Connor. David Montgomery, Javonte Williams. Man. Just go with Cam. Let's go with
Talk
Cam
us through that pick.
He was really just a running back that I feel like could have a really good season.
You're not going to talk about the ADP value you got there?
What the Rams did. Yeah.
But who does he play in week 17 though, bud?
He plays the Giants in week 17.
Wow, David, on the freaking ball. What's the total? What's the total for that game between Stetson Bennett and Daniel Jones going to be? The Rams are kind of low key one of the skeleton key offenses because if Stafford stays healthy and they're decent, like everyone other than Kupp is so cheap on that team. Like,
where's Cam Akers going last year? 3rd round.
Was he like a 4th?
He was like a classic. He was like a classic dead zone guy until it became clear that they hated him, and then for like a week he was like a 12th round pick.
But couldn't you say that they like him now, like judging by the end of the season?
Oh, you can say whatever you want.
Well, what do you think, Davis? What do you think the Rams situation is?
I mean, I think it's probably a bad situation. I think there's a lot more tail risk downside than upside.
So would you have James Conner or Madison over Cam Akers?
No, I probably would have taken Akers. I think it seems fine. But I'm not trying to make him a huge portion of my portfolio. Because the other thing about the Rams is everyone forgets this, but Kyren Williams was like about to start that week 1 game that Darrell Henderson played all those snaps against the Bills, but he rolled his ankle on his first ever career NFL snap and was out for 8 weeks.
Oleg Molo says Cam Akers is this year's Josh Jacobs. I can see it, honestly.
No, that's definitely not going to happen, but it's like a similar vein.
You sound so certain, Davis, that it's not going to happen, but it could happen.
No, that could not happen. Cam Akers is not good enough and the offense isn't good enough, but he could get 1,100 yards and 10 touchdowns. That's totally possible.
You just talked about this offense, and now you're saying it's not going to be good enough. But there is a possibility. Like, they just won a Super Bowl 2 years ago. Like, if Kupp is healthy, if Stafford is healthy, and he is the featured running back, why could it not happen? Would be my question.
He just doesn't really catch enough passes.
So says you. Speaking of running backs, Pete, you go for James Cook and then David Montgomery.
Yeah. Famously didn't have a single share of David Montgomery last year in Best Ball Mania 3. Took him here 10 picks past ADP for the famous Tony Pollard, David Montgomery week 17 correlation that everyone loves to get on their teams.
Yeah. And then speaking of double running back, Davis throws away his 5th and 6th round pick, 8th and 9th round pick with Madison and Dylan. Davis, take us inside kind of your brain of backup RB strategy inside the top 10 rounds.
I mean, I think Dylan is I'm pretty unperturbed by AJ Dillon's lack of touchdowns last season because I think the AJ Dillon thesis has always been there. Pete, can you tell me the thesis? Can you do
on AJ Dillon?
Yeah.
Well, the thesis is it's the exact same play as it was last year, except he's 4 rounds cheaper.
He just runs. I mean, he had 900 yards and 7 touchdowns last year. It's like not the worst result you could get. More involved in the passing game each of the last 2 years than I think you would have anticipated. But the thesis is body blows, Dave. Weather gets cold. AJ Dillon's a big man. And honestly, the Vikings are not giving me any indication that they want Dalvin Cook on their roster. Like, their head coach was just talking today, and he was like, yeah, Alexander Madison is like our 3 down back. He's not talking about Dalvin Cook at all. So Madison feels mispriced to me.
Okay.
What I saw the report today was that Dalvin Cook's more likely to get traded than released, but I still don't like who's trading for Dalvin Cook.
Well, there's going to be also some running backs that currently are not. Like, Zeke is going to mess somebody up.
Yeah, he's going to mess Pollard up.
Dude, is that even remotely possible, him returning to the Cowboys? Isn't that relationship severed?
Why would it, dude? You're telling me that if Ezekiel Elliott calls Jerry Jones and says he needs a warm bed and a hot meal, that Jerry Jones is turning that dude out? No chance, dude. You know that broke Jerry Jones's heart. It was like Old Yeller to him, honestly. He did not want to do that.
You just know that I could so picture Jerry Jones in August being like, we go as Zeke goes, just like it always has been. God.
You're not wrong, bud.
All right. I went with Njoku to pair with the Cleveland
with your
sack.
favorite selection in all of the draft pool.
And then I'm going with Tuttle's guy, Alan Lazard. And so he is going to be paired with Garrett Wilson. And of course, we know that the Browns play who in week 17, Davis?
Wait, I was reading the chat. Who are we asking?
You.
Kitchen's asking if you know who
the Browns play.
Kitchen did the correlation, but he took the wrong wide receiver. You know who needs revenge? Elijah Moore.
Who?
Elijah Moore needs revenge against the Jets.
He still might be there.
Kitchen,
all right.
Are you, I want to ask you, I don't think it'll happen, but on the chance Aaron Rodgers fell to you at pick 131, I'd say there's 15% chance that happens.
100% scoop him up.
Okay, because this is a big debate in the best ball game theory streets, Kitchen. I'd love to hear you weigh in. Are you nervous? It doesn't sound like it to have 2 quarterbacks from the same week 17 game.
No. Mm-mm. Because
can you expand on that?
Sure. It kind of falls in the live a little category as far as you're focused on one individual event. It's like everyone that's focused on week 17 why are they focused on week 17? It's because, if they get to week 17 and then that game goes off, then what happens? Then you have a good chance to win this money.
You just
made
an enemy for life, Dingus.
Hold on before.
Dingus.
You got Daniel Jones, same thing, right? Potatoes. But
he took a freaking unstacked Geno Smith as his second quarterback.
Wow, that is great. That's legitimately
Make it Geno as second. Yeah. But anyways, you're playing on an individual event in week 17 and hoping that a game goes off, right? And that's why you're correlating your teams. So why not have both sides of that? You're limiting your chances, but if that game does go off, it's the same thing, right? Like you're basically banking on one game to go off.
Pete, what's the math? Make your picks here, but what is the math based case that it's bad to have the 2 guys from the same game?
I think it's just that you don't have an avenue to a second game blowing up, right? That you only have access to one game blowing up.
One game, yeah. Dingus, though.
Please don't. Fuck! I just got the same thing that happened to Kitchen, where the auto draft Pat Freiermuth. God, that would have been a nice pick for me there.
Hate to see it.
You do really hate to see it.
Dingus has 3 wide receivers: T. Higgins, DeAndre Hopkins, and Juju Smith-Schuster, and he just really decided he needed Geno Smith.
Do you know what I might do for the people today? The rare Peter 3 tight end build that I've been resistant to, but I am going to get forced there today, most likely. I'm going to take Khalil Herbert, and then Let's see. Which wide receiver do we want to do? Do we just keep spraying and praying at these shitty KC wide receivers? Let's grab a little Rashee Rice. For a second, I took Khalil Herbert and I was like, oh no, did I just take 2 Bears running backs? But thank the Lord, David Montgomery is out of town.
So I thought that Dingus might have been a Boy Meets World reference, but that was actually Minkus. Totally different thing.
Mm-hmm.
Yeah. All right. So we got Sky Moore and then Jacoby Myers. We got Digla 11 on the clock. And then Davis, talk us through your team right now because it is a hodgepodge of something.
You guys are about to see a masterclass in backdoor stacking Daniel Jones with this build.
I am so annoyed. I'm so annoyed.
Why? There's so many. There's like 4 viable backdoor stack options for Danny Dimes. When guy closes at Gino, he opens up a window.
No, I know, but I just really like Gino, and I like the way I have Kenneth Walker too. So it's sort of the whole thesis here, and this guy just stepped on it.
I do truly not know what Dingus is doing other than tilting you, which is
he's got to be auto drafting. No one takes Juju Smith-Schuster on purpose. My theory is that Juju Smith-Schuster's ADP is entirely held up by auto drafters, and that there's actually no way.
It's Davis. It's 2 parts. It's either auto drafters or people who just get absolutely buried in an avalanche, and they're like, God damn it, fine.
I gotta take Juju so I can get Mac Jones.
Yeah.
All right. Davis, you went with Dalton Schultz there.
Gives me another backdoor here, and I didn't want to take a wide receiver because I'll probably take 2 Giants wide receivers later on. So building out my numbers right, and I can be done at tight end now as well.
We have a situation where Sklimilk is going to auto draft, and who he's going to auto draft. It's probably going to be the guy that I'm looking at.
Oh my God. I really want Kitchen to be able to get him.
It's going to be the guy that I really want.
Okay. Chat solved why people are still taking doo-doo shit poopster, which is
sorry, Kitchen. That's brutal.
Man. It is so brutal. But after last week, it is kind of funny though, right? Like that this is happening to me.
It is, Kitchen.
All right. Go ahead, Davis.
ETR has doo-doo shit poopster ranked in the 90s, so people who are drafting up their ranks are also taking him.
You know what, tight end? Okay, no Chig. Wow, Kitchen is just like a ruthless non-homer drafter these days. Old Kitchen is starring.
Old Kitchen is running.
If I would have gotten Traylon, I would have also gone.
I don't think you need to. Those don't have to be pairs.
Well, no, but I would have wanted to stack them. Is what I'm saying.
With who? Malik,
Titans quarterback. All right, so Russ Wilson goes. Has the hate gone too far on Russell Wilson, Davis? You are a guy who has liked Russ in the past.
I think he's my most drafted quarterback.
Is he really?
No, Anthony Richardson is, but I do really like him. I mean, the thesis is David, make your pick here real quick. I don't want to distract you.
Oh.
I mean, if you do this, I'm leaving the show.
What?
Oh, you are such a mother.
Wow.
Rookie wide receiver. We have untapped potential. He's got a good quarterback right now with Daniel Jones, I feel like, this season. And then also, as you know, I drafted Cam Akers, Davis, and you know who the Rams play in Week 17? The Giants.
Just take Wan'Dale Davis. It's a better pick than Hyatt.
Oh my God, dude. I'm so mad. I'm not having a good time. I don't even remember what I was saying.
I don't know what you were saying either.
Oh, Russ. Yeah, I mean, yeah. Drew Brees had absolutely nothing left in the tank, had negative juice left in the tank by the time his career was ended, and Sean Payton got winning seasons out of him and winning fantasy seasons out of multiple wide receivers, so it's probably all right.
All right, so just to kind of run down things, I've got 7 receivers, 1 quarterback, 2
good
running
for you,
backs.
bud.
2 tight ends.
Really happy for you,
Pete. How many more wide receivers do I need?
Do you need here? Let me see. You
did.
Yeah. I feel like
maybe one
more. You could stop.
Yeah.
You definitely need to catch up at running back. It's 7 or 8.
Yeah. Well, running back's kind of my specialty. People know as far as backup running backs, choosing elite upside running backs. All right, Davis is on the clock. He goes with Romeo.
I actually really like him. I think, and it's all based off of one really good drive he had in a loss against the Tampa Bay Buccaneers. But it was a really good.
He got hurt. Did he get hurt on that drive?
Yeah, it was before he got hurt. Although it is interesting to note that when he got hurt and then he came back, Christian Watson went from like 27.5 fantasy points per game to like 8. I think it's a little. I just think Romeo Doubs, wide receiver 61, Christian Watson, wide receiver 19, is a bit of a spread. I don't know if the spread is that deserved.
Okay, Pete, you've got 1 quarterback.
Yep.
4 running backs, 6 wide receivers, 0 tight ends. But you might go with the 3 tight end build, which is typically in this range will be when the first tight end wants to come off the board.
Yeah. I'm debating here. So I take Jaylen Warren as my 5th running back. I am looking at getting my first tight end here, and I'm debating between Greg Dulcich, who goes against my Chargers in week 17, or Irv Smith for my Pitt KC stuff. Does the chat, the peanut gallery, have a thought on Greg Dulcich versus Irv Smith?
Yeah, I would go with Dulcich.
Davis, are you a Dulcich man?
I mean, I was beaten so thoroughly by the false flag last year that I gotta carry it in a battle this year.
And it kind of goes with that thing of we don't know what Dulcich is, but he could be the top tight end in this offense.
Yeah, well, I'm with you. I prefer Dulcich.
He almost certainly is the top tight end. Who else would be?
Well, I'm talking about one of the top tight ends in the league, like top 5 tight end potential.
Dave just nothing. Yeah. Dave loves more than just being like, we don't know, man. We don't know. We just
embracing
know,
the unknown, embracing the unknown, and drafting on upside. Like that's my thing. Like I would think that Dubs Love, that would be the epitome of what I'm talking about right there. You're embracing the upside of 2 unproven guys, but if it works, it'll be good for you.
I mean,
right.
Yeah, if you just say if it works, I mean that works for any strategy. If getting sniped on Geno Smith and Jalen Hyatt is what you need in week 17, then I can't wait to win $3.5 million.
Yeah. Well, you're going to need a little bit of luck, Davis, along the way.
Like you need like a shadowy cabal conspiracy to cancel the highest scoring week 17 game, like in the middle of it, and have the statistics not count.
No. No.
What would be the 2023 equivalent of that? It's like we get to week 17 and Derrick Henry, after just gashing the Texans for like 300 yards in week 15, decides he just wants to retire from the game of football right before week 17, and all the Derrick Henry
or it's like an organizational thing to like rest him, to be like, you put too much tread on those tires, and Derrick Henry's like really mad about it and like goes to the press conference and is like, like complaining about the front office and stuff.
And he's like 85% owned in the finals.
100%. Yes. Yeah. That is definitely it.
Man.
And then there's the one guy who's like, I actually took Tajay Spears because I knew he'd be a low advance rate guy.
I thought he was a low advance rate, high ceiling play.
All right.
Who is this year's Tyquan Thornton, Dave?
As far as the guy that Pete tries to pump his bags on and doesn't.
Tyquan, very bullish report from practice.
Very
today.
Bullish report.
I'm gonna have to pump his bags in the newsletter tomorrow. By the way,
the most random guy who ends up counting his points for the person who wins Best Ball Mania 4.
Did his points count?
Yep.
Yes.
Oh,
Pat took him on one team. Disingenuous touting there.
That is disingenuous touting.
Yeah.
All right. Oh man, I'm on the clock right now. I got. I could go with Peoples Jones to get another.
I mean, you pump those bags. Are you being paid by the Watson camp here?
No, I'm not.
The only thing,
but look at these running backs. They're pretty bad. They're just. Ugh.
Take Zeke. He's going to be a 9th round pick in a few weeks. Yes.
We don't know, really. Whatever team he goes on, he could be just a touchdown vulture guy that.
Kitchen
get you 12 points and you needed to advance.
If there were 2 copies of Deshaun Watson in the player pool, would you double tap it at like the 7-8 shirt?
No.
Wait, Pete, did you ever answer the math thing? I
tried. I didn't. I was saying that it removes access to another game, but that wasn't math.
Yeah, I don't. I like it. It's certain to me. It feels cozy. Right? Like it's just like, I'm like, ooh, I got Jared Goff and Dak Prescott. Like they're both going to score a lot of fantasy points. But I mean, I don't know. It's something that intuitively feels good.
All right.
Good comment from the chat here. We just don't know as the Swolecast t-shirt for this year. I think
that's the sequel to Live a Little.
Dave, that's really good because you could just apply it whenever you want.
It's true.
The fact that like Kitchen's best ball aphorisms could also be like stitched together on throw pillows that your mom would have on like a bench when you walk into your house.
It's just how he wants it.
Live, love, draft.
Yeah. Home is where the heart is. Yeah. There you go.
There
you go, Davis.
No one has. We just don't know on their throw pillows.
Yeah,
that's like a doomsday prepper thing. If anything.
Okay, if Ezekiel Elliott repeats last season, 968 yards and 12 touchdowns, we get a comment from the chat that Zeke was not worth a 12th round value last year. 900 yards and 12 touchdowns. Newsflash: a lot of the guys you're really stoked to take in that range may not score 9 touchdowns in their career, right? Like Chase Brown is a dog to record 12 NFL touchdowns in his entire NFL career.
All right.
Hey, Pete, take us through it.
Yeah, so I do need a second quarterback. I have a little bet here on the Steelers. Not as big of a bet as I want, or I could wait for Sam Howell. You know what we're going to do? We're taking the spray and pray approach on non-Sky Moore Chiefs wide receivers. We now have Tony, Rashee Rice, and MVS.
Man, this team is going to hate when DeAndre Hopkins signs a 1-year incentive-laden deal with the Kansas City Chiefs.
How are they going to make that work cap-wise? The numbers I've seen there are not convincing.
Convert a bunch of Mahomes' stuff to a signing.
You know
bonus.
what? I'm going to capitulate. For Davis, I did this with Pat today. If I'm doing a 3 tight end build, if I'm ever going to take goddamn Taysom Hill, it's in a 3 tight end build.
What is the argument against taking Taysom Hill? Like what leg do you have to stand on here? You're
just praying he has like the one big game he has all year is during the fantasy playoffs.
He was the tight end. He was the tight end 6 last year on a crappy team. They're going to be better this year.
What was his? I have you checked the playoff advance rates? I didn't see him on a single playoff team last year.
I'm sure he had to have a really good advance rate.
He didn't do jack shit in the playoffs.
No tight end does anything in the playoffs.
Except Mike Gesicki.
Yeah,
George
sure.
Kittle.
I don't. That was not the Gatya that I was expecting. I thought.
Hey, Davis, you're supposed to be welcoming me in open arms for taking Taysom Hill, and instead I've just rebuked.
No, I shun the non-believers, and I don't allow you to have 1 foot in and 1 foot out. Either you're team Taysom or you're not.
Have you seen my exposures? I'm the epitome of 1 foot in, 1 foot out.
Right.
Yeah,
Davis, you just sniped me.
Wow, I ruined your Cleveland Browns giga stack.
I'm hearing good things. I'm hearing good things about Ford in camp.
Jerome Ford is a classic cabal pick right now. Like everyone you talk to, like, oh, who's your running back sleeper? Oh, Jerome Ford. And then it's like he's going to be losing touches to Demetric Felton in week 3. It's just like I've seen this.
I saw a photo of him or a video of him catching a pass from David Kitchen's favorite player for a touchdown at practice today. Getting used in the passing game.
All right, so this School Milk has to be doing a bit right now. He drafts Tajay Spears, knowing that I wanted him. It's really tough. Okay, I've got a choice between Bryce Young right here to pair with Mingo or Trey Lance to pair with Debo and Ayuk. You guys aren't helping me, but I'm going to go with Lance because
I did not think that would be the side of the great divide that you would land on, to be honest.
Just don't know.
Buddy.
Trey Lance.
You just do not know.
Knowing the quarterback that Trey Lance is, if he is the guy, right? If he is the guy.
What if? We just don't know.
Can I highlight? How do I highlight?
Let Kitchen land the plane on this Lance take because I need it.
Yeah.
Yeah. The upside is, where else are you going to get a guy with Trey Lance's rushing ability? Just his rushing ability. I mean, some people might say Bryce Young, but anyways, you've got
Bryce Young weighs as much as one of Trey Lance's quads.
Okay. But I just think Trey Lance is upside. And I've already got Deshaun Watson. So really Trey Lance is just gravy. All right. So now though, I might need another running back. Singletary, Hubbard.
You do need another running back.
Boo. Fournette.
I mean,
talk to me.
Zeke
talk
and
to
Fournette.
Me.
What can go wrong, baby?
Yeah, I don't know.
Click a button.
I almost picked Kareem Hunt. I don't feel good about Singletary though. Oh, that felt gross. That felt really gross.
Only Kitchen would reach 2 rounds on Zeke, but feel grossed out by Singletary at ADP.
Singletary is sort of like the James White pick of years past, where it's just like not exciting, but he's probably going to churn along just fine.
Yeah.
Davis, I see Isaiah Hodgins come off the board here. Are we looking at a Darius Slayton selection for you here?
No, I got Wandale. Whatever, it's fine. The week 17 thesis this year is that Daniel Jones runs for 2 touchdowns.
That's what I need my Jalen Hurts thesis to be, because he is still very naked on my team.
Well, once Goddard goes, there's nothing you can do. I mean, you got to take Gainwell on this team, but
Gainwell's already gone.
Oh, damn.
It's either we just let it go or you tack on a Quez or Olamide.
Are you more of a 3 quarterback guy than a 3 tight end guy, Pete?
Yes.
Yeah.
But I'm having to change my mind. All the smart people are telling me 3 tight ends are very viable, so I'm trying to be flexible.
The 3 tight end thing just makes so much more sense to me because they can 2 of them can be in your lineup the same week. Two quarterbacks can't. Little dueling narrative here between Kitchen and I. He takes Lance, I take Purdy.
Oh. So you did take 3 quarterbacks.
Yeah, I like taking 3 quarterbacks when I whiff on the elite grouping.
So if you had a guy like Watson, you'd be okay with just Trey Lance.
I don't really like taking Watson, but
I don't either. Nobody likes it. Okay. We had 137 comments last week. We are almost up to 5,000. We need.
Who knows 90. How that happened?
We need 90 more followers for 5K, and then after that, it's really just going to take off. I have a feeling. But make sure that you are liking, subscribing, and then commenting. And Pete, you can give your pitch on while they're commenting.
No, I actually earmuffs Dave, because I like you just seeing all the comments and thinking it's just because how much people like the show. But yes, this is my 34th Best Ball Mania draft. It is eligible for my comment giveaway, where you leave a comment on any of my draft streams, and that will get you an entry into the $1,500 giveaway, 3 $500 winners. There was a stream this morning you can comment on. There's this one and also going to be one on ship chasing tonight. So you got to bounce around, but you will boost your odds in the same way. I'm going to boost my odds to win Best Ball Mania 4 by selecting Mac Jones and Mike Gesicki.
Ooh,
you are a Gesicki over Henry, bro, huh?
Honestly, I do not think I feel super strongly about it. Gesicki has the higher ADP, and so sometimes when I miss out, I get. Do you have a strong take on it?
Yeah, but I was just gonna say, like, I don't know what this says about me that I do have a strong take that Hunter Henry is the correct pick, but it just probably says like I need to, get some hobbies or leave the house more often. But like I feel pretty confident that ADP is reversed.
People have liked the industry and history lessons we have on the show. So here's a question I have for you, Pete. Are you concerned from a branding perspective?
Will you go full screen when I answer this, Steve? Keep going.
Yeah. That there is now a ship chasing and a ship at nation.
Oh,
are you concerned that the two are going to be frequently confused with each other?
Yeah, and I mean, I already got some wind that Randone was cooking up some Piss Boy merch for Ship It Nation. And I called up my boy Hoop and I said, you better get rid of that guy. He's trying to. Also, I do need to make an announcement. Lulz did officially extend the invite to Big T to come on the show tomorrow. Mm-hmm. He said he is not going to be coming on the show. He said he thinks it is in his best interest to not do the show right now. I don't want to reveal too many other things he said, but the Randone leaving did seem to be factoring into him wanting to let the Ship It Nation stuff play it out without him interjecting himself into the conversation. So that's your update right there.
Your industry update. How do you feel about being like the LO or the lulls being the TMZ of the fantasy industry?
He loves
There was some guy on Twitter. I'm not even familiar with him. He doesn't follow me. He's a DFS guy. It's like Sheets or something. And he said, he gave me like a backhanded compliment where he's like, I think their time and talents are wasted talking about this stuff. I was like, this guy must not be a best ball guy because we're doing plenty of other content.
Yeah, we're doing Israel Abanikanda versus Michael Carter analysis on May 31st.
Trust me, there's no opportunity cost to us talking
Cedric
about
Tillman, Dave.
What?
This is performance.
Gigastat.
Do you know who he plays for, Davis?
Let me tell you this. If a Browns Godzilla stack is what you need in week 17, Dave might win Best Ball Mania 4.
Can I give you
how many do you have? How many Browns do you have, Kitchen?
Enough, I think. I've got 3, 4, 5. So
could always have more.
I could.
Should I do what the cool kids are doing, Davis, with the 4 tight ends and tack on Hunter Henry while
Leone is big.
I think in the smaller fields, I get it. I mean, I wouldn't do it on Underdog ever. I would do it on DraftKings, but Best Ball Mania, it's got to be bad. Right, Dave?
Okay.
You got any thoughts on
Dave,
4 tight end?
What's your thoughts on 4 tight end? Because there's also the poker player Dan Zach out there who's doing 5 tight end builds, which literally seems like he should be dragged off to the loony asylum for that. But what do you think, Dave?
Again, each one of these strategies you have to consider in a vacuum. You can't consider this strategy versus that strategy because you are dependent on one single event, one thing happening. So if someone said, I'm going to take one quarterback, that is in itself a strategy, not taking any other quarterbacks, right? Like, is it the best strategy? Is it the best strategy? No, but you are focused on that guy being the guy. Now, for the 5 tight ends, probably a little bit too much, but for 4 tight ends, Tight end is just a random.
So that
bullet.
is something we do know. You've landed on. We do know that 5 tight ends is too many. We can put that on a throw pillow. That 5 tight ends is too many.
Five tight ends, a little bit too much for this.
Someone give me a live, laugh, love.
Would you just listen? Would you just listen?
Board?
If Kelsey or Kittle or Waller, whoever these top tight ends don't go off week 16 or week 17, then you're just throwing darts. So why not have 4 darts to throw out there? It's just a point of differentiation and trying to maximize your potential.
I just took Kyron Williams in the draft. Couldn't even see it. Sad.
It's a shame. People said that you hate Cam Akers because you love Kyron Williams.
That honestly, the chat just reminded me of that Kyron Williams existed, so I took him for the first time because I needed another running back.
Wow, you've had a.
What about this other guy, Puka Nacua?
Nah, Atwell, baby. All in on the mic on the small boy.
I'm gonna let the chat decide my 18th round pick.
Are you looking for a wide receiver?
Wide receiver. Dusty Eagles wide receiver, Quez Watkins or Olamide, or the brain back, the Greg Dortch. We just run out.
Dortch.
Can I tell you someone other than Dortch? No, don't do Dortch.
What's your submission, Kitchen?
Wilson.
I did Wilson with Karain on Best Ball Breakfast.
Michael Wilson. Great reports out of camp right now.
No,
we know what Dortch is, right?
Do not click
a
that
little
guy's name.
4
Dortch
wide receiver guy.
Man.
Wilson's the guy that's going to get you touchdowns. How many touchdowns is Dortch going to get? You're
4.
looking for potential. Davis, be realistic.
Dave, close your eyes.
So Wilson's going to be.
David, close your eyes.
Go, Michael Wilson.
It's 17. Clayton Tune is quarterbacking for the Arizona Cardinals. He's been incapable of completing a pass of greater than 10 air yards all season. The Philadelphia Eagles are up 30 points. Greg Dortch and Clayton Tune have connected for their 14th pass of the day. They've yet to record a first down. Greg Dortch has 14 receptions for 63 yards. What part of that seems unbelievable?
I don't know why you would not go Michael Wilson if you're trying to win this thing.
Also, you didn't close your eyes. So
well, it's because
thanks for your input. I took Olamide.
Oh my gosh.
Pete, you didn't close your eyes either. That's why you didn't understand.
Why would you not draft Michael Wilson? He's a rookie, so you just don't know. You just don't know what he's capable of.
Please publish an article that says, you know how people will do like their Excel or their columns and they'll write a little blurb about the player next to the rank. I just want them all to say Kitchen's top 150. You just don't know. You just don't know. You just don't know. You just don't know.
I'd pay money for the Evan Silva, Soccer Dave back to back. Like you get Evans and you get Dave's.
All right. Well, let me ask you this. DeAndre Hopkins, right? Like 5 years ago.
We just don't know.
Where was he going?
First round.
Drafts?
First round. You've got Michael Wilson coming in with DeAndre Hopkins being out. He could be the wide receiver 1 in that offense. And if you were going to look back.
I'm realizing what's happening now, Peter. David literally forgot that Hollywood Brown is not on the Ravens and plays for the Arizona Cardinals.
No,
did he forget about Rondell Moore and Trey McBride and Greg
No,
Dortch
I'm saying Nuke's absence. Was Nuke the wide receiver 1 last year when he was playing? Yes, he was. And so I'm saying Cedric Wilson could fill that role.
Cedric Wilson, you think Michael Wilson is going to earn more targets than Hollywood Brown?
Counterpoint, Dave. Cardinals wide receivers named Michael are cursed. May I remind you of one Mr. Michael Floyd?
Yeah. Yep.
Another big-bodied, toolsy wide receiver that people were pretty excited about.
Also, just Cardinals outside wide receivers in general are cursed. Andy Isabella, Christian Kirk, they're cursed. You want.
Well, we're about to wrap up some things, grade each other's drafts. But before we do that, we always want to give people the Overzets overview.
He's got that dog in him. What? He's got that dog in him. What? Overzets overview. Come on.
Wait, where's the Stupid Nation merch?
Oh, he's got a Run Pure hat. He's got a Run Pure hat.
He's running pure. But where's the
he's trying to balance it on the chair and cannot balance it.
We need Ship It Nation merch or it's not complete.
How much did he pay for that Run Pure hat for a bit?
They're not cheap. Large Anthony is not selling those cheap. Oh man. $35 for some cheap laughs out of David and I on the stream.
One of the things when Big T slid into the DMs to talk about stuff, he also told me the actual price that they pay for the hats, because the number I was quoting on Lowell's, I guess, was inaccurate, but good margins on the merch over there still. I do not have an Overzets overview. I'm in contract negotiations with Dan Bach. I'm asking for a 10% raise, and I'm withholding the Overzets overview until I get it.
All right.
So Overzets overview might be moving to Ship It Nation, actually.
So I did not want to step on Pete's toes by mentioning this, but obviously for those that are just now subscribing and tuning in, Dan Gasper, Mr. 05, is usually our fourth during the NFL season. He is just basically saying, you guys do your thing while he continues to just dominate. He won $7,500 in second place in a tennis DFS match.
And the reason I know that, we all know that, is because he posted a screenshot with the hashtag Giblets on Twitter boasting about the big win.
Yeah, 7,500 just on a tennis contest. I'm predicting with this recent run that 2023 NFL title is going to be just on it for the NFL season.
It's ever since he just stopped doing this show, there's been a direct correlation.
there's been a 1-to-1 causal relationship between his DFS performance.
We dick around and tie up our money for 7 months while Tuttle frees up his time. It just shifts every other slate.
For those that do want to support Tuttle and the Swolecast, you can go to RotoGrinders.com and get a subscription there, because Tuttle is in charge of the ownership and some projection type stuff for the niche sports. So RotoGrinders.com. I don't know if promo code Swole will do anything, or if there is a spot for the Swolecast promo code, but we should probably get one. Get you 10% off.
Totally.
So can you come on the show?
And man, what happened to Hard Outs? An hour 7 here.
No.
Yeah. Hey, what's the promo code for people that are watching right now?
For RG subscription, it's Grinders.
Grinders.
Totally.
So we're gonna just get lumped in with all the other people. How are we gonna know if we're driving
Can you get a Swole promo code for us?
I can look into a Swole promo code.
Yeah.
Should we do promo code Pete?
Or maybe maybe we don't want to know how much value or lack thereof we are driving to the company. It is better if we just don't know. We just don't know.
All right. Let's do a quick rundown. Pete, I'll let you choose who you want to do.
Davis has been doing a good job roasting my team, so I think we should keep that. Do we just want to keep the flow where I roast Kitchen roasts Davis?
The problem is that Kitchen is not good at this. You and I are both good at this. David is not good at it.
I am too good at it. I roasted your team so hard week 1.
No, it's not funny, dude. You gotta be quicker on your feet.
Well, which one do you want, Davis? I'll roast whoever.
No. I just want David to do a better job. I think we can keep it the same, but I just want David to try harder.
All right. Goes. Pull up the draft board here just so people can follow along. So Kitchen, not realizing he was in a wide receiver avalanche, but still accidentally drafted a wide receiver in the first round, Garrett Wilson. But despite just getting buried by snow, he happened to see a shiny blizzard hanging out on the slopes and was like, oh my God, Bijan Robinson, I'm definitely eating that regardless. So he did still get his running back in round 2. He took Deebo Samuel and Amari Cooper at the 3-4 turn because he is a closeted 0 RB bro. Although if we check the tape, I don't even remember him selecting those himself. I think the computer did that. Dave started to get visions of grandeur and San Francisco double stacks in his head and went with Brandon Ayuk. and then took Kyle Pitts there at pick 62. I believe he's now taking Kyle Pitts in 3 straight drafts. Where do you get your ideas, David Kitchen? And then the moment Kitchen had been playing for all along, in the same way us Best Ball Bros circle week 17 on our calendars before every draft. David Kitchen circles Deshaun Watson and writes on a little sticky note underneath it, Deshaun Watson at all
no
costs.
matter what.
He finally got his man here, and then boy did he just unleash a Cleveland avalanche after that. David Njoku, who else? He also drafted Zeke Elliott, hoping that he would backfill behind Kareem Hunt as the 3rd running back on the Browns. Even took Cedric Tillman, who's basically Cleveland's version of Michael Wilson, which is going to be the next great wide receiver. He also, for some reason, took Izzy Abanikanda. Didn't read Leone's Best Ball Manifesto about dead roster spots, but you can't win them all. Nice draft, Soccer.
It's because he plays the Browns in week 17.
For the Jets. So just in case, if someone, you just don't know, you could have the first 2 or 3 running backs get hurt, and then he is the default running back in week 17.
Let the record show that I did goad Kitchen into selecting Zeke Elliott at pick 158 only because he didn't know what else to do and just did the first word that was said aloud.
100% true. All right. Davis.
All right. I mean, Pete felt right at home in this room. Looks like sort of like an overflow room is what happened here. About half the people were in on the bit. David was clearly not one of them. Takes Jalen Hurts after ADP because he knew that the chat would have mocked me mercilessly if Jalen Hurts was still there when I purposely selected DK Metcalf over Devonta Smith. Anytime you can take Mac Jones when he's playing outside in a blizzard in week 17, when he famously threw 3 pass attempts against the Buffalo Bills, you got to do it. A wide receiver room with all guys that weigh less than I do. Tony Pollard, James Cook, Khalil Herbert, Jalen Warren. Then he added one guy with a little bit of heft in David Montgomery. The thing I love most about James Cook is that at least Liam will approve of this team. Classic Piss Boys draft. Jamar Chase, no issues. Keenan Allen, when you can draft a guy older than Soccer Dave, you got to do it. Then take his teammate who was last healthy in the Pleistocene era. Kadarius Toney, obviously, you can't buy that dip knowing DeAndre Hopkins is going to come into town because the best thing for a guy who played 5 snaps in the Super Bowl is to have an all-pro wide receiver line up next to him. Jahan Dotson, all good. Just really doubling down on the DeAndre Hopkins rumors by adding Rashee Rice and Marquez Valdez-Scantling. I mean, really unbelievable work here for a non-Mahomes team. And Olamide Zaccheaus, whose name has more syllables than he will have targets this year, finally capitulating to big Taysom Hill. Pete drafts the best tight end in fantasy football and then backs him up with Greg Dulcich and then takes the wrong Patriots tight end, almost rectifying his mistake and taking 4 in the end.
If I can't win Davis over with 3 Chiefs picks and Taysom Hill, I'll never have a chance.
Seriously.
Well, if you had Mahomes, I'd be all
right.
on board, buddy. That would've been,
all right, we gotta wrap this up. Let me go through Davis's team real quick. Davis has embraced the live a little mantra. He doesn't want to admit it, but with the Titans love, not loving a Kansas City drafted team, and then going with these 3 quarterbacks, Daniel Jones, Jordan Love, and Brock Purdy. So he wanted to stack Daniel Jones with a couple of guys, didn't get there. He did get Christian McCaffrey, Kenneth Walker. Dave? I don't know. And then goes with the backup running back train with Madison, Dillon, and then Ford and Kyron Williams, who he just was reminded of by the chat. So last week, awesome 18th round pick. This week, not so much. Then you've got DK Metcalf. Terry McLaurin did not want to choose Terry McLaurin's teammate because you can't have more than 1 wide receiver on a team in week 17.
That's exactly what I said.
It's basically what you said.
Can't have more than 1 wide receiver per team.
I think he said you just don't know.
No, he did say that.
So you got Addison. Traylon Burks, probably the best pick of Davis's team with the upside that he has. Then goes Dubs, Wandale Robinson, and Tutu Atwell. This team is gross. Mark Andrews, and then Dalton Schultz, tight end for the Houston Texans. That wraps up Davis's team. So I will say, Davis, I think I started off a little rattled. I think you might have ended a little rattled after being sniped the Geno pick. I think that kind of sent your draft a little bit downhill. So,
I mean, really looking at it, the only 2v2 that would be different is Geno instead of Daniel Jones, and then whatever wide receiver I would have wanted there, Wandale instead. And I guess not Tutu. I would have taken Richie James instead of Tutu probably. But the rest of it worked out.
All right. Closing thoughts, Peter?
You're going to, over the course of this summer, you guys are going to read a lot of analysis, a lot of galaxy brain, a lot of people overthinking it. But you're even going to see pyramids on Twitter that tell you what you're supposed to do when you're on the clock. And you're trying to look at this and it looks kind of like that 1960s food pyramid. And there's like your grains and then there's your fats. And then you're like, wait, is it supposed to be inverted? It's going to confuse you. And I just want you to know when you're on the clock and people are throwing stuff at you, just remember, we just don't know.
Just don't know.
I can't say it. I can't say it any better than that.
That would have just been a beautiful hard out if we had a producer.
I can't say it.
Davis, do you have any final thoughts?
Don't we have to let everyone get their final thoughts?
Yeah, we do.
Not when you drop the mic like that.
Not when you drop the mic like that.
The show isn't all about you, Pete.
Davis.
I mean, honestly, the chat just continues to really get my goat 2 weeks in a row. So congrats to the chat. You guys, you got to me. You got to me again this week. Good for you.
I will say that you're always learning stuff, and I'm always that I'm doing right now. They might be really good, but not perfect. So today I learned what an avalanche was. I like that. And maybe it's because I like cold stuff. I like avalanches. I like blizzards. And with Davis on the show, I like snowflakes. So with that being said, thanks to everybody else for tuning in. Thanks to Sosa. We'll see you next time here on the Swolecast, RotoGrinders.com. Peace.
Kitchens.